The 2024 Oscars is stacked with phenomenal nominees, which shouldn't be too surprising as 2023 ended up being another fantastic year for film overall. Most of the discussion this year has of course landed on two colossal blockbusters in Oppenheimer and Barbie, and whilst these two in particular will pick up many awards on the big night, the Academy has also shone some light on fantastical epics like Poor Things, dramas such as The Zone of Interest, and even some comedies such as The Holdovers and American Fiction. But who of these big names and their competition will take home the biggest awards of the night? And who actually deserves them? Let's dig in. I'm Ewan, this is What Culture, and here's who should win every Oscar this year, and who actually will. Number 23, Best Documentary Short. Who will win? The Last Repair Shop. Who should win? Nine and WIPO. For the most part, it's been a year for feel-good documentary shorts, with each of this year's nominees giving some kind of hopeful outlook on the world, despite occasionally emotional testimony. Nominees in this category include the ABCs of Book Banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, and Nine and WIPO. The lattermost may just be the best of the bunch, as a graceful portrait of family love documenting a touching friendship between two grandmothers. But don't expect it to be frontrunner The Last Repair Shop, which serves as a beautiful look at community and the power of music with a wholesome, empathetic punch. Number 22, Best Live Action Short. Who will win? The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Who should win? The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. One of many cut-and-dry competitions this year, the Best Live Action Short category is filled with compelling projects, including the powerful Invincible, which follows a teenager who returns home after being imprisoned in a youth detention center. Other nominees include The After, Night of Fortune, Red, White and Blue, and The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, helmed by none other than Wes Anderson. Even with the strong competition in this category, the year's trophy surely belongs to Anderson, the delightful centerpiece of his recent Netflix series adapting the most popular works of author Roald Dahl. Should he win, this will actually give Anderson his first Oscar win after 8 nominations. Number 21, Best Animated Short. Who will win? Letter to a Pig. Who should win? Letter to a Pig. The Best Animated Short category always delivers a diverse array of projects for voters to choose from, and this year's palette of nominees is no exception. The likes of War is Over and Our Uniform in particular delivering visually daring and emotional stories that leave nothing unsaid despite minimal runtimes. Other nominees in this category include 95 Senses, Pachyderm, and perhaps the strongest entrance, Letter to a Pig. A haunting dreamscape in which a young girl faces the darkest corners of her memory to heal from recent trauma, Letter to a Pig is a short but devastating tale filled with hope and stunning imagery destined to stay with you long after the credits roll. Number 20, Best Original Song. Who will win? Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell, What Was I Made For? Barbie. Who should win? Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt, I'm Just Ken, Barbie. This is a strong collection of songs, the nominees ranging from joyfully fun to quietly devastating, but don't let the competition fool you. This year belongs to Billie Eilish and What Was I Made For. Not that I think it deserves a statuette necessarily, personally owing to me hearing the chorus of this song way too many times scrolling through social media, but also because I'm Just Ken is just better. I feel sorry for Gosling being hounded about the Ken song and also being asked about performing it for the ceremony when he's clearly not interested in doing so, but also it's the defining track of the film. Even if it is dumb that Ken's Mojo Doja Casa House captured our imaginations more than the movie's other music. It won't win for that reason, because the optics would look incredibly silly, like I look silly right now, arguing that it's better than the Billie Eilish tune, but yeah, expect her to win the prize instead. Number 19, Best Original Score. Who will win? Oppenheimer. Who should win? Killers of the Flower Moon. This year, the incomparable John Williams has scored his 54th Oscar nomination for his exciting work on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And while he won't take home the award on the night, that deserves some serious applause, so please, if you will, everyone, come on, clap louder. You're not clapping, clap louder. As for the eventual winner, it's difficult not to see Ludwig Göransson scooping the award for his doom-laden, deeply atmospheric work in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. The scores for other nominees, Poor Things and American Fiction, are both laudable, but Oppenheimer's compositions define cinema in 2023. It's a score that stays with you. Booming, calculated, frighteningly intense at times, but I will say that the late Robbie Robertson's Killers of the Flower Moon swan song is the more memorably moving of the two frontrunners, and complements Scorsese's tragic history lesson beautifully. It's the one I think should win, even if the nuclear equation's on the wall as far as Oppenheimer is concerned. Number 18, Best Visual Effects. Who will win? The Creator. Who should win? Godzilla -1. Since Oppenheimer missed out on this category, which still feels weird to say, I have no idea how that happened, it's anybody's guess who will take the eventual win. Though most signs seem to be pointing by way of The Creator, which is set to duke it out with the likes of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Napoleon, and lastly, Godzilla -1. -1's historic nomination in this category isn't only an important one, but also the most worthy. The film is gorgeous, and that it costs just $50 million to complete makes it much more impressive. Give Godzilla an Oscar already, goddammit. I mean, surely we should get to see him actually gatecrash the event in a jumbo-sized tux? He owns it. I bet you he's a snappy dresser. Number 17, Best Sound. Who will win? Oppenheimer. Who should win? Oppenheimer. Sound plays a massive part in this year's nominees. The creeping, anguished screams in The Zone of Interest, the enveloping orchestral sequences in Maestro. But no film sound has left a bigger impact this year than Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, which deservedly looks set to beat out other fellow nominees in Mission Impossible and The Creator. Booming, intense, building towards inevitable tragedy, Oppenheimer's sound captures the horror and pain of its story, with often chilling results. Whether it's making the outside world silent to explore Oppenheimer's personal anguish, or in the film's great auditory highlight, letting off a bomb in the Nevada desert. No surprises will be found here, it's the best sounding movie of 2023. Number 16, Best Costume Design. Who will win? Poor Things. Who should win? Also Poor Things. Come on, it's gotta be Poor Things. The costuming in this film is unreal. A core component behind its uniquely gothic aesthetic, and an especially essential storytelling instrument as you look at the journey of Bella Baxter. To its credit, and for all its flaws, Ridley Scott's Napoleon makes for its own visually sublime achievements in the costume department, as do the likes of Oppenheimer, Barbie, and Killers of the Flower Moon, but it won't be enough to knock Poor Things off its pedestal. Number 15, Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Who will win? Maestro. Who should win? Poor Things. When it comes to the makeup and hairstyling category, the Academy has a frustratingly predictable love for actor transformations, especially when there's a movie star like Bradley Cooper layered in prosthetics to play another famous figure, to become, as the headlines say, unrecognizable, even though you can definitely still tell it's them. Now, that's not to say that Maestro isn't deserving of the award it seems destined to win. It's just that the work done in Poor Things is far more inspired. Cooper does transform thanks to his new look, but Poor Things revels in the breadth of its visuals, of which makeup and hairstyling contribute significantly to. Poor Things should take this, but Maestro is the least adventurous pick, which means it's gonna win no problem. Number 14. Best Film Editing. Who will win? Oppenheimer. Who should win? Also Oppenheimer. Undoubtedly, one of the most important contributing factors to why Oppenheimer works so well as a movie is the editing. Nolan's editor on the film, Jennifer Lame, pulls off the cinematic equivalent of a magic trick keeping up with his vision, and the results are truly breathtaking. Now, it would be remiss not to shout out the work of longtime Scorsese collaborator Thelma Schoonmaker, here nominated for her 9th Oscar, or Anatomy of a Fool's Lawrence Seneschal, but this is Lame's win all the way, and hers will be one of the most deserving victories of the night. Number 13. Best Production Design. Who will win? Poor Things. Who should win? Also Poor Things. With Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos and his team have created an entire world, rich with vibrant detail, gothic delights, and staggering set pieces, making it one of the most impressively mounted films of the year. Hell, maybe even the decade. Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer, which recreates a literal atomic bomb test, are not without their stunning creative highs. But Poor Things' enveloping sense of scale and beautiful set pieces are to die for. A tough competition for sure, but this one's gotta go to Poor Things given that it's such a visual feast. Number 12. Best Cinematography. Who will win? Hoyt van Hoytema. Oppenheimer. Who should win? Hoyt van Hoytema. Also Oppenheimer. In a 12-month period overflowing with gorgeously shot films, it seems there's nothing that will be able to stop the great Hoyt van Hoytema, a longtime Nolan collaborator who, in Oppenheimer, has delivered a masterclass the film would be lost without, from winning Best Cinematography. He has some strong competition from Rodrigo Pietro's sweeping, evocative work in Killers of the Flower Moon, which captures the vastness and loneliness of the film's central tragedy, but with Oppenheimer destined to clean up in many of its categories, Best Cinematography seems to have already found the winner over other nominees El Conde, Maestro, and Poor Things. Number 11. Best Supporting Actress. Who will win? Divine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers. Who should win? Also Divine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers. Unlike the Best Actor and Best Actress race, the Best Supporting categories have been decided for some time now. Actress most of all. Divine Joy Randolph's role as a morning chef in Alexander Payne's comedy drama The Holdovers has swept almost every award body leading up to the Oscars, and her revelatory turn makes it easy to see why. The heart and soul of Payne's movie, Randolph is a divine joy, to pardon the pun. Even though the performances of Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, Jodie Foster, here going for her 3rd win with Nyad, and Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple have more than earned their nods. Just don't expect them to swoop in. Number 10. Best Supporting Actor. Who will win? Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer. Who should win? Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon. For a little while, Best Supporting Actor seemed like a dead heat between RDJ and Ryan Gosling, each giving great performances that threatened to run away with their respective movies. As this year's ceremony has fast approached though, Downey Jr. has taken pole position, outpacing the likes of Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction, Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, and Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon. His turn as Oppenheimer's political rival Louis Strauss serves as one of his finest hours. Passionate, intimidating, electric, complex, you name it. But this isn't the best supporting performance I saw over the last year. Truly, I think that honor goes to De Niro, a master who delivered his most transformative appearance in decades as William Hale in Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 9. Best Documentary Feature Film. Who will win? 20 Days in Mariupol. Who should win? 20 Days in Mariupol. This year's Best Documentary lineup is a strong bunch, including tales of broken families, unsolved crimes, thrilling political races, and in the case of this year's almost guaranteed winner, heartbreaking odes to lives irreversibly changed by war. Mstislav Chernov's deeply personal 20 Days in Mariupol is not an easy watch. Its frontline exploration of the early days of Russia's invasion of Ukraine delivering a devastating but vital blow, but it's so powerful and enveloping in its storytelling, it's impossible to tear away from. A film that definitely deserves the title of vital viewing, 20 Days in Mariupol will make for a great winner out of a sea of worthy contenders, which also includes Bobby Wine, The People's President, The Eternal Memory, Four Daughters, and To Kill a Tiger. Number 8. Best International Feature Film. Who will win? The Zone of Interest. Who should win? Also The Zone of Interest. A tough year for Best International Film it may be, but there should be no doubt Jonathan Glazer's return to the big screen with The Zone of Interest will scoop the award, especially when you consider the fact that it also has a Best Picture nod to its name. Glazer's meticulously constructed and terrifying wartime domestic drama is a powerhouse movie that will leave even the most hardened of viewers reeling, and deserves all the awards it will win, though it is worth noting that the great Wim Wenders has also released a masterpiece this year in Perfect Days. Other strong contenders in this category include The Teacher's Lounge from Germany, Io Capitano from Italy, and The Society of the Snow, which comes from Spain. This still feels like a deserved shoo-in for Glazer though. Number 7. Best Animated Feature Film. Who will win? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Who should win? The Boy and the Heron. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a visual delight and quickly went down as one of the best films of 2023. That being said, I don't think it was as good as the original, and there's also the fact that Hayao Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron, a wonderful, imaginative hit from Studio Ghibli that surely ranks alongside the company's most thematically impactful visions, is up for contention too. Given Ghibli's long line of bad luck at the Academy, they have just one Best Animated Feature to their name for Spirited Away, it sure seems time that we heap some more praise on one of the more consistently awe-inspiring studios working today. But hey, I guess we're fine with a Spider-Man win too, I guess. Number 6. Adapted Screenplay. Who will win? Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Who should win? Jonathan Glazer, The Zone of Interest. It's hard to imagine anything will topple Oppenheimer in Best Adapted Screenplay. Nolan's ability to shift from epic spectacle to introspective character work across various time periods is as efficient as it is impressive. Though Jonathan Glazer's troubling work on The Zone of Interest is arguably a more daring, accomplished piece of visual storytelling. Subtle and heartbreaking, forcing the audience's hand at every turn, The Zone of Interest is a masterstroke of mood and show don't tell. Oppenheimer is more showy and intensely thrilling, and more than deserving of its inevitable win, but Glazer might just be the worthier of this one. Also, side note, truly shocking that Killers of the Flower Moon was snubbed in this category. The way Eric Roth and Scorsese put their own unique stamp on that story, turning it from a text reckoning with a historical tragedy into one that uniquely examines cinema's role as a mythologizer and an unjust accomplice at that, was beautiful. It should have won for me, but in the absence of an national nomination, The Zone of Interest is the next most deserving. Number 5. Original Screenplay. Who will win? Justine Triet and Arthur Harari, Anatomy of a Fall. Who should win? Celine Song, Past Lives. This year's Best Original Screenplay slate is excellently diverse, ranging from the amusing and hopeful, The Holdovers, to the unsettling and subversive, May December. Sammy Birch seemed a favourite some time ago for his challenging May December script, but it seems that film's fortunes have changed slightly, missing out on other nominations. Now, it looks as though Justine Triet and Arthur Harari's hauntingly ambiguous and deeply human work on Anatomy of a Fall is poised to scoop the win. In another life though, Celine Song's romantic, lovely work on Past Lives would win this one no problem. But Anatomy of a Fall will make for a strong champion all the same, certainly more so than Maestro. Number 4. Best Actress. Who will win? Emma Stone, Poor Things. Who should win? Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Once upon a time, Best Actress seemed like Emma Stone's to take. Her transformative and thoroughly original performance in Poor Things poised to be a highlight of her career. And honestly, it is. And she would be a deserving winner. But she wasn't the best performance of the year. That was Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon. Stone's performance is larger than life, more external and show-stopping, but louder does not mean better. Gladstone's turn as Molly Burkhart was deeply emotional, strong and tragic, taking on a woman destroyed and betrayed by her husband's greed. I do think Stone wins the prize on the night, but Gladstone is who I'm rooting for the most. Number 3. Best Actor. Who will win? Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer. Who should win? Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers. Much like the Best Actress race, the Best Actor competition is far from settled either. On the one hand, you have Cillian Murphy, a veteran supporting player given the role of a lifetime in the biggest film of the year. On the other stands the great Paul Giamatti, a critical darling whose hilarious turn in The Holdovers marks his finest work to date. On paper, it seems Murphy's to take. He swept many of the precursors, his off-screen popularity can't be overstated, and his haunting intensity is unforgettable in Oppenheimer. That being said, Giamatti has been a big hit with the critics, and his standing as a long-time Hollywood legend might give him some sway. At this point, with the rest of the film working in his favour, Best Actor looks to land with Murphy. But after years of snubs, wouldn't it be something to see Giamatti win the award for a performance he truly deserves? Either way, we're all winners here, except for whoever loses, because they won't win. And number 2, Best Director. Who will win? Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Who should win? Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. In a sea of remarkable nominees, Christopher Nolan seems poised to win Best Director, having more or less swept his way through the awards circuit. And deservedly so, most would argue, although I do think Dunkirk outshines his most recent effort in a good more ways than one. All this said, it's impossible not to see Scorsese as a threat or a favourite. The work of an artist with over 6 decades of filmmaking experience under his belt, Killers of the Flower Moon is such a graceful, visceral triumph, it'll surely go down as one of the director's greatest ever works. That said, don't expect a major twist here, no one has this in his hand already, but to see Scorsese take the statue home would be a brilliantly welcome surprise. And in truth, any of these nominees, the meticulous work of Glazer, the ambiguous, haunting intensity of Trier, would be a worthy victor. And number 1, Best Picture. Who will win? Oppenheimer. Who should win? Past Lives. All of this, of course, brings us to the biggest award of the night, Best Picture. In the early days of the awards circuit, it looked as though this would be a tight race fought between Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, with Nolan and Scorsese going head-to-head for the trophy in a clash of the cinematic titans. As time has passed, though, Oppenheimer's box office success, critical popularity, and audience adulation has seen it run away with the competition. It is the movie of 2023, more than Barbie was, which was also nominated for Best Picture, and hits many of the notes we know the Academy tends to love. Also nominated in this category include Poor Things, Zone of Interest, The Holdovers, Maestro, Anatomy of a Fall, and American Fiction. All in all, a pretty fantastic reminder of how great a year 2023 was for film. Oppenheimer is in many ways the medium's biggest flag bearer last year. Nolan's haunting biopic may not be everyone's choice, especially with Celine Song's delicate debut Past Lives in the mix and Scorsese firing on all cylinders, but few can say they won't happily welcome his long overdue victory.